We talk about everything, play music in between. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene. Talking music, you know what I mean. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene. Welcome to Chad's Underground Scene. We are here in Santa Monica with my special guest, Benedikt Brydern. How you doing, buddy? How's it going in Santa Monica?
Oh, excellent. Sunny day. You don't see it yet. It's dark, but it's a beautiful day out there.
Sweet. Yeah, a little warm. We're hitting a little heat wave here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, in the valley even more, right? So I can't complain. It's all good.
Yes. So, I'm excited live music is back.
Yes, me
How
too.
about you?
Oh, man. It's time, right? And
Yes.
you can feel it. The people want it. The musicians want it. Everybody. We are ready.
And it's just nice to play in front of people again and see them face to face and talk to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And hug them.
And hug them too, and see the appreciation and the love, right? So, no, it's been great so far with a couple things I've done, and so looking forward to the summer. So.
Awesome. So let's start with a song by you. Tell us a little bit about the song.
This song I wrote pre-pandemic in the summer, and I wanted something uplifting, and it's called the Summer Samba Wave. So not to be mistaken with the famous Wave song by Jobim, but it's kind of, also Latin flavored. And I'm gonna play this on my electric violin, which I have plugged into here in my system, and my imaginary band is not here with me, but they're here with on the system, so they're gonna play along with me the Summer Samba Wave.
Man, that is awesome. I love it. I love it.
That gets us in the mood for summer,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We need a cocktail, we need a drink now.
So tell us a little bit about how you get started with music.
Well, I'm back in Germany, back home. I'm from Germany, right? See, my lovely accent gives it away.
Beautiful, yeah.
Pretty much everybody learns an instrument,
Yes.
early on. So most people do the recorder, which is of course the easy way in, but then almost everybody learned piano, I know, or string instrument, right? And my mother loved the violin. And she said, I want this kid not to play piano, we can do this later, but start on the fiddle.
Oh, sweet.
And so when I was 6 years old, we got a violin and found a teacher, and ever since then I've been playing violin.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. And then,
Well, you
of course,
took to it pretty well, obviously.
thank you. Well, a lot of practice, right? A lot of hours in a room practicing, and then I studied. I decided to become a professional musician.
And she must be proud, right?
I think she is, because all parents suffer tremendously when the kids start playing
Yes.
open strings, and it sounds pretty
Oh.
awful, right? I mean, so I applaud everybody who's going through this with their children.
Yeah, I
so.
played the baritone at school.
Yeah,
Boop,
you-
boop, boop.
I know, right? We gotta suffer through this, but once you're beyond that, it's great, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
yeah. I'm sure she's proud now, and I'm also very happy I don't play those ugly notes anymore. So.
And then how did you end up here?
Well, you know what? I also have another love, which is writing for movies and television, composing, right? So I got a scholarship to study here at USC,
Oh,
University of Southern California, focusing on film scoring. So, and I've done a couple of movies and some other projects, and so
Oh,
this is my
fantastic.
other side beside
Yeah.
playing.
Yes. Besides your super passion, right?
Well,
Playing
here's
that
my super
violin.
passion, that's right, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about how we met each other.
Yeah.
So there's a great show in Venice Beach called the Venice
Radio Venice. Yeah.
TV, right? Radio Venice TV.
Yeah.
And Michael Yost runs this show.
Exactly.
So tell us about, we both were on the same show together, the same episode.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're doing like, I think, 20 episodes a year or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
they're very busy, and he's also a fellow German, and that's how I met him, through another musician, Susie Williams, who recommended him and said, you gotta meet Michael.
Oh,
because he's a fantastic German guitar player who plays amazing, and he has a radio show which is called Venice TV, which was confusing at the beginning. But anyway, so then we connected, and
Yes.
and he invited us, me and my band, a guitar player and bass player also, to come to his wonderful place at the Boardwalk in Venice.
Yeah, and such a good time. And I did it a different way. I had a friend that was a friend of his partner's,
Oh, here we go.
and she introduced me. And then,
Yeah. And he knows
then-
a lot of musicians, right? I mean,
Yes.
he's well
Oh, yeah.
connected and interesting people and great musicians, and the styles are also, everything is in there, right?
and then we ended up together on the same show.
And also we jam on the show. That's what I loved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, hey, you want to sit in? I'm like, okay.
And it started out, I believe there was 3 or 4 musicians all
Yeah.
came in separate, and then we played each 1 or 2 songs each.
Right?
And then I played my first song, and then I said, "Hey, Benny, why don't you jump in and join
Exactly.
me on the next one?" And he jumped right in and joined me on that
And
song.
I love that stuff. And that's, collaboration. And,
Yes,
and
and then-
that's how you experience cool things and learn about new songs.
Oh,
And
it's so good. And then in the end of the show, we did a jam with everybody coming together,
yes.
and some beautiful singing and beautiful guitar, and
Which sometimes is missing
Awesome.
nowadays, with people doing all the tracking separately or overdubbing, and you don't meet the other people, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's nice to be in a room and do this, and you can see those shows too. They're all, I guess, online, and you can
Oh yeah,
actually
yeah.
revisit
You could
them.
go back. So,
Yeah.
so look for Venice TV or
Radio
Venice
event.
Radio Venice TV.
That's the one.
Radio Venice TV. It is awesome. It's a great show, and it's on every Sunday at 4:20. You can see it 4:20 Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
So it's a fun show to. It's kind of like this, where get together and
Yep.
jam and talk about music, and
And it's a live feed.
it's
So
live. Yeah,
it
that is live. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, you kick it off.
All right, this
And
one's
then
actually
you go.
on both records. This one's called Chelsea G. It's about my niece. She's got eyes blue, matter when you're home. She's got a great big smile,
Said she's so mean, that Chelsea Jean. She's so mean, that Chelsea Jean. Said don't worry, Dad, it's gonna be alright. Said she's so mean, that Chelsea Jean. Said she's so mean, that Chelsea Jean. I said, don't worry, Dad, it's gonna be alright.
So, after meeting him, a year, I guess it's about a year, maybe almost 2 years later,
Yeah.
I was recording a new album, and I asked him to play a couple songs on there. So tell us about
Oh, I
how
love
that
that.
experience was, because it was during COVID, so we were in our homes, and I
Yeah.
called him, and he did his tracks from his studio, and I did my tracks at another studio.
Yes, I mean it's kind of fun because you can do a lot of stuff at home and you can actually fix a lot of things. And I'm fully equipped for remote recording, and I've done many other projects. And first of all, I love when you called me up because I think I love your music and it's fun stuff, great songs.
Oh, it was a
and,
great time,
But you
yeah.
never know where the client or the friend's gonna take it, because again, I'm gonna send tracks over and later you're gonna add more instruments.
Oh,
and
right,
edit
more
and things.
instruments and-
But it came out great. But I did everything here. I record my violin in a corner, and I have my workstations here, and
Yeah.
I put things together. The danger is with those devices, you do 15 takes and then you cut them together. Sometimes you just want to forget all this and do it once. You know,
Oh, yeah,
feel
yeah.
the moment, right? Do not over edit, which is a big problem of our current times. But having said that, during COVID, we were lucky to work with people remotely, right?
Yes.
Because
And then,
people did do it and you could get stuff done actually.
and then the guy I worked with, I eventually was able to go and do the rest of it at his studio. I did my parts, and
Yeah.
and then when he heard the violin parts, he said, "Oh wow, you found somebody who's really good on the violin," and he
That's
thought it was
excellent.
great because it wasn't traditional violin. It was
Right.
You were doing it the way you
Yeah.
thought it worked with what you were listening
Exactly.
to and what I
Yes.
played. And I'm definitely not traditional on anything I do.
Right. Yeah. So I think we lucked out here, and so I'm sure this people are gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a fun album. So
So, speaking of that, so the album is called Not Alone, and it'll be out this summer. And it expanded and expanded. It started out, you were early in the process, so I only had, I think, one guitar track that I sent you and
Pretty
some
much, yeah.
scratch
A little
vocals,
bit.
right? And then you put your part on,
Yep.
and then the guitar, lead guitar came on after, and I put it together with with what you were playing,
Right.
Because you had played some leads, you had played some
Right.
other parts, so I put some guitar in there with that, and Dave, my friend Dave, played that on there. It was
Great.
awesome. And then I had several different friends, and a lot of them were from my band Big Mess that came in and played different instruments. And then at the end, my drummer had been in a motorcycle accident, and he was recovering.
Ah.
And he finally was well enough to where he could go into the studio.
nice.
So I pushed him up the stairs into the studio, and he did a bunch of percussion.
Great.
So it's not traditional drums either; it's percussion.
Love it.
So it's super
everything
fun,
goes.
super fun.
Everything goes.
Right. So
And some of my colleagues actually last year here in Hollywood, for some bigger movies, they had to actually record an orchestra individually. So all like the movie like Mank, right? People heard about that
Yeah.
movie. All the strings and everybody did things at home. And later, the engineer put it all together, and it sounds like a symphony. I mean,
oh no, that's what happened with this because there's so many parts at the
I
end.
know, and they all come in,
Oh,
and
was
everybody
it?
sends you stuff, and but then you create something different, right? And
Yeah.
now we are back going into the back into a studio situation, which has a different energy,
Yeah.
and creates different results. Right?
Yeah, and then Paul, who produced it, Paul Russler, he was like, "Oh my goodness, there's a lot of tracks on here. That's a lot of work." But in the end, he was like, "It's so fun. It was so
Right.
amazing because it was not the normal direction a lot
Yeah.
of bands went. I just had
Exactly.
so many different things and different people,
Yeah,
and different approaches to recording the music.
Yeah.
It made it just super
Great.
fun." And since we talked about that, we will come back with a couple songs from the album. We're going to play together.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a couple of nice songs from the record, Not Alone, and this is songs that Benny played on. And this first one here is called Death and Calling. And this song I've written kind of, it was, I guess with my father in mind. He's one of those people that lived a little too long. Mm-hmm. And at the end it was rough. So this song kind of goes out to him. And here we go.
Calling, I feel you're out of touch. I know your heart is falling and faith is enough. I feel the wind is blowing, we've been through so much. I know you say you're all in, but we have to stand and fight. I said, death calling, don't you talk to me. I said, death calling, come set me free. Closer, it seems to be in sight. Take a look in the mirror and now you see the light. The world is full of problems, it's time to make it right. I know the words you're saying, well, it's time to fight. I said, death calling, why don't you talk to me? Death calling, come set me free. Take it, Benny. It's so real, gonna cure it one day. My heart, it will heal. I know you'll say you're all in, but it's time to let it go. Here I am, a memory. Oh, will I show? Problems, it's time to make it right. I know the words you're saying, well, it's time to fight. I have no feeling inside, I know it is so real. I'm gonna cure it one day, my heart it will heal. I said, death calling, don't you talk to me. Death calling, come set me free. I said, death calling, don't you talk to me. I said, death calling, come set me free.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, that was awesome. I always get a little emotional with that song.
Oh, definitely.
And here's another one. This is about those friends that they just refuse to say they did something wrong, or they refuse to admit they were late. You know how that is, and it's a little bit frustrating, right? It's a little frustrating. A lot of times you let them pass because you go, that's just them.
Yeah.
He's always late.
Right?
Right.
That's right.
So this is a song to get a little bit of those frustrations out. This one's called Die on That Hill, because they're standing on that hill and they're going to die on it.
Pretty much.
And here it goes. Listen, you always have to win. It's like you're on a mission. You
never give in. Always say you're right. You say you can't be wrong. That's why it makes me crazy. That's why I wrote this song. I said die on that hill. We've had our fill. I said die on that hill and be lonely. Well, it's time to lay it down. Forgiven for your sin. Listen to your friends. Don't always have to win. Let's get together. It's been way too long. That's the only answer. So listen to my song. I said die on that hill. We've had our fill. I said die on that hill and be lonely. Yeah, take it, buddy. You've been, make the right decision. It's time to come along. Nothing lasts forever, so listen to my song. Listen, you think it is your fate. When we plan something, you always show up late. Listen to be careful, the meaning of this song. You say that you're right, but you're dead long. So die on that hill. We've had our fill. I said die on that hill and be lonely. I said die on that hill. We've had our fill. I said die on that hill and be lonely.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah, so much fun.
Love it. Nothing like playing with people together, especially on the mark. You just do it, right?
Yes, yeah, I know. But
Nothing
whatever
prepared,
happens, nothing prepared.
nothing prepared, just go with it.
Go with it, right?
So awesome.
That's life. That's what we have to do anyway, right?
That's right.
Just gotta go with it.
So let's talk a little bit about your music. You play solo. You also play in some bands.
True.
So tell us about all of that.
So I mean, I got all those different genres I deal with because I grew up with a classical background. So I've done my Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, symphonic stuff. I still play symphony gigs, concerts as we would call them, more, you know, on the stage, and I do events, special events, of course, with a regular violin. Today I brought different ones. The one you just saw, this is actually the carbon fiber, right? This is like really high-end. This one will float in the ocean, waterproof, right? I can play this in the rain, right? So I love those things. And look, you can see through here.
So nice, yeah.
So, and I play electric, right? We've seen that too. So I do all kind of things. I love jazz. And I heard Stefan Grappelli when I was like 15 years old back in Germany playing old-time swing music. I'm like, wow, there's this 80-year-old man having so much fun with a violin, right? That can't be true. What's going on there? So I discovered this world of Django Reinhardt and you know, old jazz and Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, and then I got further in, right? The American big bands, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, right? And then further you go, of course, Coleman Hawkins and Charlie Parker, the modern jazz quartet, Dave Brubeck, and so on. So I discovered jazz, right? But on the violin, there were only a couple people doing jazz, right? Jean-Luc Ponty, and then Grappelli, of course, Eddie South does. So I play jazz. I play in a couple bands in LA. We specialize in that old swing. I've done a couple records with the Hot
swing.
Club Quartet. So we do the old time acoustic jazz, right? But on the other side, I love electronics and I love amplification.
And it sounds so good.
This is you can do so many things. I have a pedal board usually with more effects. I play with singer-songwriters, and I also compose music. So I do, pretty much everything on that. The only thing I don't really play is heavy metal. I have, for some reason, nobody's called me.
They haven't called you. So so when I record a heavy metal song, I'll have you come in.
Or if Rammstein ever calls me, I would definitely say yes. Right, I'm in. Or if you call me, sure. So, but I love it. I mean, I do classical, again, jazz, classical, blues, a little bluegrass, blues, some country western. There are amazing fiddle players out there,
Oh, they're amazing. I just came back from Nashville and
oh yeah,
and oh my god,
and it's a different
so many good
history.
fiddle
I mean,
players out
my
there,
teacher would not approve of some of their bow grips and things.
Oh no.
Right? But the way they play and what they do with it is mind blowing. Right? So
and some of them, those strings are shredded and they're just
everything is
everywhere. And
so I've done a bunch of different CDs, and I've done everything from super slow to fast and exciting,
exactly.
So I just try to be creative, right? And if somebody calls me up, as you say, I don't even know. You send me your tracks. Okay, let's dive in. Let's see what you do, and then let's have some fun, right?
So what are some of the bands you play in?
All right.
I know before we were shut down there, you were playing in a couple of bands.
A couple of bands. So the longest run I had with Janet Klein and her Paula Boys, and Janet is a darling singer specializing in the old songs from the 10s and 20s. We go way back. That's 100 years ago.
Right. Oh yes.
So and she has a big following. Because people don't love those songs and they haven't forgotten them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then on the big band side, Dean Mora's band was very big in town, and I played also with Johnny Crawford's big band, who recently passed away. Mm-hmm. The Rifleman Kid, right, who had his own crooner big band when I first came to town. And we would play at the Atlas Supper restaurant on Wilshire, and that old 1930s Bing Crosby kind of sound.
Yeah,
right?
I love that, yeah.
And I had my own Hot Club Quartet, which I still run in a way with different people like John Reynolds, fabulous guitar player, is my go-to guitar player.
Yeah, that was an influence my father had. He loved the crooners, right? So he had old records of all of them playing.
All that stuff is great music. And then I play with a couple of singer-songwriters occasionally. We do shows at Hotel Cafe and those places. And then I'm like with the quartet or, improv on the solo violin, some pop and rock. So.
And talk about improv. Dean Martin was one of the best at improvisation, right?
Oh, yeah.
He had a show where he never prepared a talk show.
Nothing.
He never prepared for it. He just did it.
Right. Or even singers, as you know, Ella Fitzgerald did the scatting, which other jazz singers never attempted to sing like a trumpet or trombone solo.
Yeah.
But Ella went right for it. And you can listen to those recordings. It's pretty wild.
Amazing, yeah. All right, so play us another song.
I played something different, I thought, this time, because the first one was like the samba, rhythmic. I last year during the pandemic, actually, and I think we talked about this on your last show a tiny bit, I released an album that is more reflective. I wanted an album that I can actually listen to myself late night and just almost fall asleep. If you don't fall asleep by song number 3, I did a wrong. My job was wrongly done, right?
I messed up on the writing side.
Yeah, I messed up on the writing side. So I wanted something that just gets you away from everything. So this is a song from that album, and it's from my Benedikt Violin Passion series, which I started 10 years ago playing electric violin.
Oh, sweet.
And this post-luminum noir, I give all those strange titles nobody can ever remember. This is called The Sunken Lighthouse, which is, meditative, more quiet. So this is a moment just to relax.
And reflect.
So...
That's awesome.
So a completely different style, right?
Yeah. And you nailed it on that one. That is so
Thank you.
meditative and
Thank you. Maybe
relaxing.
one day I do it live, but I'm always afraid in a concert situation people make too many noises or look at their devices, which throws me off. So it's sometimes better to do this kind of stuff as a recording and people listen when they want to listen. And it's hard on stage if people distract you with.
Yes, yeah. And I would even add to that song is a little mysterious.
Well, sunken lighthouse, right? Whatever that means. What happened there? We don't know, right? I love those books and some of those video games when you have to solve a mystery too. So so that goes right with it.
That is awesome. So we went through some of your. Oh, so how do you like it since you've been in the U.S.? How long have you been here?
Oh, it's gonna be let me see, 25 years.
25 years,
soon.
long time.
So yeah,
obviously you like it.
I do like it, and I'm like turning more into a Californian, right? So my mind, it's shifting over. The needle is going to the other side. No, I really enjoy it, and especially California is a special place.
Yeah,
I mean, all U.S. is beautiful, and each state has its own things, magic, right?
Yeah.
But I love the ocean. I love the palm trees, the weather, the
weather's
wind,
amazing. Yeah.
the wind and the diversity we have.
Yes.
Especially LA, because I mean, again, music-wise,
if I want to see anything every night.
If I want a sitar player meeting an Irish penny whistle player, you can find it in this town.
You can find it here,
right? I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I've found it all in everything I've recorded.
It's there. It's all there, and there are amazing musicians from all over the world coming here, right? And so if you really get in there. It's pretty amazing. That's why I still like it. And
in fact, I played for years with a band called Shillelagh Brothers, and that's what we did, Irish folk music, and we had a penny whistle player.
Hey, that's exactly.
We couldn't find one, so our singer decided he's going to learn how to play it, and he learned and played really well.
Even better. So, no, this has been great, and I love coming home. It's more like a visit now. It's like visiting my past, right? Going home, see my family.
Because you've been here so long.
Yes, but I still like going back.
Yes.
But then also I find it more crowded in Europe. I mean, it's beautiful, but then here I love the space. Despite, the traffic I don't like too much, right? But on the other side, you go into the mountains and there's space, right? And things like that. It's just very uplifting.
Well, a lot of diversity though also in West Berlin, so that's
we have it. No, it's there, but it's different.
There's some similarities.
There are similarities, but of course,
so it probably wasn't so hard to to get ready for California.
I don't know. I mean,
acclimate to what we were doing here, right?
No, and also as I said, I think LA is different because we got everything. You can find your German beer if you want to find it, or your Asian
or you can have
noodle dish, right?
Chinese beer or whatever.
But if you're in a small town somewhere in the Midwest, it might be harder to get that, right? And then there might be more culture shock if you come to certain places and you're like, what's going on here? So I think LA is kind of out of that, because when I came here, and within like a year, you know your places, you feel really
you feel comfortable with
so no complaints.
You find some really great comfort zones, right?
Everything, yes, exactly. And you can find this anywhere. I mean, if you're open-minded, right, anywhere you are in the world, you can find this. But LA makes it kind of easy if you are open and you just go out and discover it. And again, we have it's a gigantic city, right?
So, tell us how we can find your music on the internet.
Yeah, so I have my own website, which is www.consordino. That means with a mute. Sometimes you put a mute on, consordino.com. And of course, everybody go on Spotify nowadays. I guess that's the platform number one. YouTube, some videos, but Spotify has all my. Look up for Benny Brydern or Benedikt Brydern. You can find my entire catalog.
I put Benedikt Brydern to look for some of your videos, and they all came up.
Yeah, there's a lot of live tapings from shows, and also Spotify has my swing albums, my electro swing albums, my classical, the meditative album. All that is streaming. So, and on Tidal, of course, and Apple Music, all those platforms.
Oh right, no, it's amazing with music now. That's something that I'm just amazed at, is how fast you can get things out there.
Yes,
for people to access, right, and find.
Yes, which is great. Of course, there's more competition now because we have millions of people putting it out. But on the other side, you can put it out, right?
Oh right, yeah.
Back in the day, you needed help, right? Even producing and recording. Now you can do stuff at home.
Oh yes,
you can buy equipment for a couple $1,000s. Back in the 80s, you had to book a studio.
Oh, right, yes.
Which was seriously expensive, right? To do a record. That's why it was so under tight grip by the labels, who would get a signed deal to make a record.
Right, you could probably make a record now for the cost of one song, or putting tracks down for one song.
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen successful acts recording in their garage, right?
Yeah.
And doing stuff with their little laptop and a microphone. So
Yeah, and there's even people doing it just on a computer now. Yeah.
which I find amazing. So I mean, we come a long way.
Yeah, we've come a long way, and there's still nothing like a studio. And this album I did is in a studio.
Yeah,
and
no, there's something to.
I always go back there when I do my albums, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, there's always a plus and a minus. But yeah, of course, being locked in Capitol Records for a week and record your album is a dream. I know.
It makes it so good. Yeah, yes.
Something like that.
And going forward, do you have some projects you're working on? Things that are going to be coming
Sure.
out?
I also compose concert music, right? So I have pieces I write for ensembles, chamber music.
Yeah.
So that is always on the. I always have stuff cooking.
Oh, good,
But
yeah.
on the popular side, I'm currently finishing up a smooth jazz song, which I
sweet.
hope to release in about a month, also for the summer. So I already have the band tracked. We also did remote tracking, COVID related, but I got the band ready. I'm now doing my violin part, and so watch for that. So in a couple of weeks it should be released.
Should be ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And like I said, I have Not Alone. The album is be coming out this summer, and then I also have a second album called In My Head. That'll be
Fantastic.
coming out at the same. It'll be coming out a little later or before. I'm not sure.
It's all good, right? As long as you don't do a Christmas album, because Christmas CDs need to be ready by October.
Yes.
Right? Then you better get them done in August.
Yes, and then I might have a Christmas song out coming.
See, no, yeah, I love those. Christmas albums always drive me mad too, because you got to make them in August or
Oh
July.
no, you have to make them the year
When you
before.
look outside, you're like, no, I don't want to sing
gotta have
a
the feel.
Christmas
I don't
song.
feel
or something. But anyway, we can complain. It's all good. So yeah, we're always working on stuff, right?
Yep, and then with our drummer being back with Big Mess,
Right.
we'll probably be doing an album by the end of the year. We'll have an album ready.
And live gigs too,
Yeah.
right?
And live
it's coming
gigs.
back. Thank God.
Right. Yes.
Right.
We played our first gig back with Big Mess last week.
Beautiful.
It was nice.
Yes.
It was great, and we actually brought in a new drummer to play with us, and our drummer Bernie came up and sang 3 or 4 songs. So it was awesome.
Awesome. I know people are eager and they book the bands, and there's more dates coming, and then now the summer shows are selling out, and more and more gigs and opportunities, and so very exciting.
Yeah, it is awesome. Okay, so let's have one more song, and then we'll close the show.
Sure, and this one is from something I started about 3 years ago. It's electro swing, which is like a fusion of old-time swing music and little EDM dance. So there's some heavy beats, but still have the old swing with it, right?
Yes.
So, and for that one, I'm gonna put on my electro swing hat.
Oh, sweet.
Which
That's a nice hat.
Which I
like
use.
that.
Isn't that the greatest? And so this one, it's called Swing Machine, and you can put a link down. I did 2, Machine 1 and Swing Machine 2, and I'm gonna work on Swing Machine 3. I need a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh,
needs
yeah.
one.
You could make it right through the whole Midwest with that hat on.
Maybe, they might mistake me for a different business, but do I know? But this one is called The Parisian, the guy from Paris, so to say, and this is from my first album, Benny Brydern's, here it is on the screen in the back, Benny Brydern's Swing Machine.
I mean, you can't even stop stamping your foot to that stomp box that's going on there.
That's the magic of the electro swing, right? That adds some extra kick. So
that stomp box.
I have a good time too, as you can tell. So yeah, you gotta stomp it. So with that positive energy, we go into this year, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's how we're gonna do it.
Exactly, and let's move it straight forward. Yeah,
Yes.
because we all need it. We all need it.
all need it.
A lot of damage has been done, so
Yes.
it's time to heal.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, I would like to thank everybody for coming out to
Thank
see
you.
Chad's underground scene with my guest, Benedikt Brydern.
Thank you for having me, Chad. Pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming out, and remember, it all starts in the underground.
We talk about everything, play music in between. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene. Talking music, you know what I mean.